everyone, Sarah here. I have a coloring tutorial for you today. I'm using Bunny Girl Gwen from Some Odd Girl Stamps. I stamped her out in Memento ink on my Copic coloring paper. And sorry, I don't usually stamp her first. I usually just color, but I decided I would show you guys from start to finish. She's super cute. I bought her last year at Jamie's store, the Not2Shabby Shop, and this is the first time I've used her. So here I'm going to color her skin with my staple E50, E51, and E53. And again, I always start from light, medium, dark, medium, back to light. I do zoom in a little closer later on. I realized how far away that was. And then R11 for the cheeks, of course. I find it always blends nicely if you do it right away while the ink is still wet. And then you don't have to worry about putting more skin color to blend it in. So as I was coloring her leg, I realized I thought she was just a one-legged stamp. And then you'll see later on that her other foot is just behind underneath the tail, so she's got one foot up in the air. It's a little hard to see though. Now the W2, W3 and Copic blender, this is where I am doing the bunny parts, and I'm doing a stippling technique. So you're just doing little tiny dots with the end of the brush tip, and you want to just layer it in there, try and do some shading with your darker color. And then once you have your two colors on there, then you take your Copic blender and just do more stippling dots over top, and that way it's not like blended into lines or anything. It actually looks like furry dots. So it's kind of to get a fur technique. So now I zoom in there so you can see it a little bit better, and I'll do it again. Just little tiny dots. Some dots may be bigger, some dots are smaller, that's fine. It's really not a big deal. And once you get, you can kind of erase any mistakes with the blender. And again, the blender is doing dots also, and that way you're not erasing all the color, you're just blending it in, but in dotted motions. Just adds texture to your coloring. Just going to add in some shading on her sock because I do want it to be white. So I'm just using the gray and then the colorless blender. And it dries a lot more clear than that. It's just because it's wet with the colorless blender that it looks really gray. picked out some good carrot colors there. And this one, I have to turn it because I'm using a flicking motion. You want to get in from the sides, and you want to make sure that you're at the right angle while you're doing it. It's a little harder to shade that small section of carrot. And then I'm just going in with the darkest color afterwards to do some of the vein lines from the carrot. I kind of followed where they are on the stamp, but then I added some extra ones in so that you can see the color. And then these are for the carrot stems. And then I also used the same colors for her eyes, kind of out of an addiction for green eyes. I think I did really good at staying within the lines this time. I'm learning. I did go through when I had a little break and cleaned up some of the lines with the Copic blender. That doesn't show that on the video though, so. Now these are my new pink colors. I did have to go out and buy them. I had a hard time finding good colors, but these are really good. R81 and R85. My store didn't have R83 in stock, so I'll have to get that one eventually, but these two colors together actually blend really nicely, and it's a very, very nice pink color. So if you're looking for a good pink to use, highly recommend these two. And R83 if you can get it. On the skirt, I tried to do some new shading here to do some folds in the fabric. So I kind of looked at them kind of as petals. So I used the darker color to shade up and the lighter color to blend it in, but I left some of that dark color in there. I really like the way it turned out. Would have been more dramatic with 3 different colors, but still turned out really nice. And then I just did the tops of the petals to join with the folds. So this is where I had to take a break. Jonathan was in the tub and I had to get him out. And I also had to pick out some colors for the hair because I hadn't done that yet. And you know what, guys, I just realized as I'm looking at this, I have the finished image in my hand, and I totally forgot to color her eyebrow. So I do usually color over with the skin color anyways, because that's a really small section to try not to color, and you want your shading to be cohesive going over it. I also decided while I was picking her hair colors that I wanted to do the band of her skirt a different color. So I picked out some purples to use. Just that BB13 and BB17. Sorry guys, I'm realizing now too that when I show the colors there after I speed up the video, it's not really enough time. So I'll have to remember that next time to hold them up there a little bit longer. This would have been a super long video. The first part of it was only 19 minutes, which is a really long time to leave your son in the tub. So I am just going to add in with the white Jelly Roll pen the dots on her eyes for highlighting. I always like to do one big one and one little one. And then also I'm going to fill in the carrot with some glossy accents. And I have the liquid glass from, where's it from? Close to My Heart. I picked it up at one of our scrapbooking garage sales. So that's going to be the end of it. I will come back with another video showing the finished card with her. But this is what I have for now. Leave a comment, subscribe if you wish, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.